that we are at a tie match at the drop. Double gen pop to avoid the deadlock. They do go down. There is a haste status effect. They do have to be careful here. The hatch is going to spawn momentarily. Deadhard could get them the distance to get it too. Shot.
Really smart play on the ace. Oh my god, getting shot through the window.
No longer have distortion, and they are gonna teleport here. I think they get there in time. Yes!
Oh, the grab! Yes! That is disappointing. This is be a 4-man out because.
Yeah, but they will be able to block this. Yo, getting caught on that. Ace coming with the body block. Oh, they were here. All right, everybody, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. Qualifier number 3 for Season 6. We're already halfway through qualifiers, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We got tomorrow's qualifier number 4, then next weekend's, and then we're going straight on into Season 6 on February 4th. So really excited about that, to say the least.
Absolutely. Season 6, we're already going into Season 6, which is crazy. It's like a year ago that we were like in Season, 1 or something? And halfway through qualifiers, but regardless, let's not reminisce too long because we got Torment versus Eternal on the Wrecker's Yard. Torment will be killing first. And it's going to be a good old demo boy, which, by the way, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, honestly, we don't see a lot of demo. We've been seeing more and more during qualifiers. I want to say it's like a 50-50 split between demo and Deathslinger. I think the only killer on this map we haven't seen is the Nemesis. But demo here, finding these survivors quite early on. 2 survivors on the hill, 1 with bounce landing, I would imagine. So demo going for another survivor instead to try and get a early down.
Yep, looking to set up a shred, not able to get it. A little bit of mind games with the Claudette. That was very close. That could have resulted in a hit if they were just around the corner a second earlier. This demo seems very apt at the mind games, though, so they might be able to get a really cheeky shred and down here.
Yeah, I believe that's what they're going for. We see a bit of a vault as well, using that mind game to their advantage, gain a little bit of distance, and a firecracker coming in, forcing them to look up into the sky, not able to get the hit, and another missed shred. These survivors doing the best they can to extend this chase.
Absolutely. Again, it's one of those situations where people love going against demo for this reason because they're obviously one of the most fair and balanced killers in the game as far as like their chase potential. It's really fun power, but again, you don't see too much of them just because they're a little bit underpowered, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see them going for another shred here. Long range one at that. Take another pallet stun too. These survivors just bullying the demo right now. And looks like the Dave will be pushed off into another tile, though. Kind of caught out here between the bus and the exit gate.
Yeah, and worth noting is that there is a gen over here. Maybe trying to set up a really empty zone. Another hit through the pallet. And Dave is gonna be running into the fun bus. What's the fun bus tile here? Looks like it's a long window, not the side window. Is that what they call it? Long window?
I would say it's the long window instead of side window. I'm not sure exactly what the exact terminology might be, but we do see a light there from the David making some distance towards the shack. Demo going for the shred and will just barely miss it. Just not aimed exactly in place. Pallet thrown early to avoid the down, and David going back to the fun bus, where we do see that pallet still down. Demo not going to be able to get the shred, as they will get vacuumed on the pallet instead. First gen popping off, which will reveal deadlock to these survivors.
Right, so deadlock on that bar gen, and yeah, eventually, David running out of pallets there. Worth noting, I think you can actually slide along the shack a little bit, and having that angle might have given them that hit. I've seen it before where you can slide along that, a wall like that, but it's also really difficult because, I mean, if you just, bang against the wall, then you bang against it, but...
Yeah, you have to be pretty careful there, to say the least.
Is that any means necessary? Wasn't the pallet thrown?
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure the pallet was down, and so Demo also like, wait one second, something's not right here, and we'll end up finding the gate for it. And so Kate now going to be going for the Palisade, will get hit, however, and losing a lot of distance. I imagine they were coming in for the unhook. Will, in fact, see it, as well as Force Penance coming in, as we do see that broken status effect on the Kate down below.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Claudette knowing about Force Penance coming in for the body block anyway, and now this Devil actually has a little bit of pressure here. Oh, barely missing that. I'm wondering if that might have been a, auto aim or if it just wasn't quite enough range. David does get a lot of distance here, but there's still no pallet. Claudette threw it earlier. And yeah, we're going to see a tunnel out. Maybe, yeah, there's no Unbreakable on the Kate as well, so they need to go pick her up.
Yeah, honestly, this is a dangerous situation to say the least. Demo right on top of David, though, getting it down. Unless there's a decisive strike, I believe this will be their second hook here. Yep. And sure enough, they are one step closer to being sent back to the campfire via the entity.
Indeed. Ace at the moment, the only one uninjured. Both survivors otherwise are broken. Misclick? Question mark?
Either that or just a little cheeky BM right there. Maybe also checking, seeing if there's a survivor. Maybe the Ace trying to go for a cheeky unhook behind the demo. But with that being said, we do see no gens highlighted in yellow after that kick. So no Call of Brine, no Eruption. In fact, we know 3 out of the 4 of Demo's perks here. And we do see David trying to get to this window, but Demo going for a swing to block it. And there's no way to stop them there. That's going to be a little bit of life. And Ace will take the body block and the Force Penance hit once again. And now these body blocks are going to be a little bit difficult to make happen, as everyone is currently injured except for Kate.
Agreed. And it looks like, yeah, Kate getting a heal there for a second. David looks like they might be running out of resources here. Going for the shred. They get the shred. That is going to be David being sent back to the campfire. I wonder how many gens they're able to finish. Again, Deadlock will prevent at least one. Ace. Okay, yeah, Ace will be able to finish that generator. Claudia is still injured. They haven't been able to reset. Really good job from the demo. Also worth noting is there was a lot of pre-game banter in the chat, and I think these teams might know each other a little bit.
Very likely, to say the least. Like I said, Torment, though a little bit new to COTF, definitely known for the Dead by Daylight comp community. We do see another shred there, and Force Penance hit on the Kate. Demo with a little bit of nodders, but not able to get the hit around the tree there on her. And it looks like they are going to be using that pallet there. And I believe we saw earlier Kate with the enemies necessary, though we also see the last gen popping off in a haste status effect to boot. That there, friends, is a nowhere.
That is a nowhere. Oh my goodness, great. I believe that was an FOV tech for the hitbox there, but regardless, yeah, you have to see if they can get this Kate down at all here. All the gens have finished. Haste is in effect, and no adrenaline to boot, because maybe the broken status effect for the adrenaline. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's either potentially that is the broken status effect, or it could have been that David was the one with adrenaline in hand. Note that 2 survivors have gone and left. They're leaving the Kate to her own devices, attempting to get an escape via the hatch. And as a reminder for those watching today, please do be respectful to all involved, both viewing and participating in our matches. That being said, Ivan, you'll be hearing from one of our forces shortly.
I was about to say that'll get Giltspire up, but regardless, that is a 6-stage 2K, which is a result good for the survivors. That's 2 fresh outs. That's 16 points for the survivors and 12 points for the killers. So solid. I mean, to be fair, a 2K on demo is really good. Survivors a little bit there, looking like they might have been struggling, but they held it really, really well despite Deadlock. Those last 3 gens popped really quickly together once the David was gone, and it looks like the broken status effect was on Kate, so unable to get adrenaline value.
That's actually really huge, to say the least. That's a large amount of value there from that Force Penance. And honestly, I think without it, the Kate very likely would have gotten out.
Yeah, because at that point, you know that she's not you can go back in, find Noah, you know that she's no longer one tap, and there's actually, like, yeah, there's something to play for. But yeah, she was injured, and regardless, there was still no head up, so it's like, yeah, we'll just, all right, Kate, if you can find the hatch, great. Otherwise, sorry, we'll see you at the campfire. So, GGWP.
Absolutely.
Well played.
GGWP by both sides. But with that being said, we are going to be switching sides here. This time, we are going to be seeing Eternal piloting the Death Slinger on the Wrecker's Yard against Torment Survivor Team.
Didn't I see this somewhere? Like yesterday?
We did see some Death Slinger action yesterday with the 2 wolves. But today it'll be Eternal instead taking the helm, and I'm very excited for this. Hopefully you guys are as well. But as we do get this lobby set up, we are going to go on a quick break. Before we do, though, we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. So that as they watch all the bits that I tip, all the subs they buy, and of course all the rogue energy you buy using the code COTF goes to supporting Champs of the Fog and our prize pools for Group A and Group B. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second round of the first. I'm sorry, the second trial of the first round, and we're gonna be seeing a Deathslinger on a little bit of a. We got a bit of a warm up yesterday, I guess you could say, for the Deathslinger. Now I'm expecting some really cracked shots, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to live up to my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday's exhibition match between Ruby Wolves and Arctic Wolves was absolutely nuts, especially that last Deathslinger match where they were just absolutely on point.
Solar Blaze was crazy.
I'm hoping to see similar Deathslinger play here today on the Wrecker's Yard, but we'll have to wait and see. And sure enough, we have Zaka here on the Rootin' Tootin' Shootin' Cowboy himself out on the prowl for their first chase.
Yeah, and also it looks like a bit of a split corrupt there. 2 on one side, and I'm not sure where the third one is. It might be off in the middle of no man's land, but regardless, we do see some scratch marks. Pre-dropping a pallet, maybe a lithe to boot, or maybe just want to make sure that there's not going to be any chance that they can't drop that pallet and, avoid a hit.
Yeah, very real possibility. I mean, Deathslinger, you really have to play against them in a really unique way, especially when injured too, where you're kind of having to pre-drop to make sure that you do not get down. But a beautiful hit there from our Deathslinger, and I think they're going to just barely be able to get the down there. And sure enough, really good play, really good shot, and that there will be the first hook here of this match.
Yeah. Steve trying to cling to the corner of that car and pallet, and it worked for a little bit. I actually was curious if he was going to be able to get that hit, but yeah, managing to get that first down, very, very solid. Survivors are aware that there is Sloppy Butcher, and now the question is, will there be a gen popping soon? Did they manage to jump 2 people to a gen, or is it 3 to, everybody spread out? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question of the day. Deathslinger does not seem dissuaded by that thought, and
they got a 3-gen?
Starting to venture out a little bit, just kind of checking on these gens and finding a survivor, getting the hit on the Claudette. If there's a bounce landing, it will actually proc here, but she's not going to get much distance for it.
No, and I think it's more or less, again, we saw this yesterday. Deathslinger, spread the pressure out initially. You get one hit, you go to the next person, you get another hit. That wasn't the case this time. They just went after Steve, and now they're able to spread that pressure out because now, Claudette has a Sloppy Butcher applied. They finished mending, but that survivor has to take some time to heal because Sloppy Butcher is absolutely amazing here.
Yeah, do you want to note here, there is a lucky break on the Steve. No scratch marks, no blood on the ground. Steve's about to go down once again, but 2 gens were traded for it, so 2 hooks to 2 gens.
No
Honestly,
deadlock.
as far as survivors are concerned, not a bad situation to be in, but Deathslinger bringing him back to the farthest hook into this map, and it's near an active gen, which is actually a huge boon to this Deathslinger.
Absolutely, yeah, even further back into this 3-gen setup. Again, noticing no deadlock on this killer, so I'm curious what regression perks are, if they even brought this slowdown perk at all.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some interesting builds before on demo. I imagine we're going to see something interesting here on Deathslinger as well. I believe at the very least we have seen that there is no forced penance, but as far as Sloppy Butcher and Corrupt, those are the only 2 that we really know about thus far.
Indeed, and we do see someone going back for the unhook. I don't know if they noticed it, or if they were just going to let it happen. Yeah, there was Claudette there. I think Jake went back for the unhook here. So, will there be a for the people? I guess not, because they're about to lose a health state there.
Yeah, but Jake actually doing a really smart thing there. We kind of saw Deathslinger just trying to break the chain on the truck.
There's the for the people!
I'm not sure where they came from, but they were able to get it on the Steve. I could have sworn I heard Steve still back there. I think Deathslinger think the same thing of where the hell did they go?
Yeah, we see scratch marks in the distance. I'm wondering if Steve managed to get out of dodge somehow. They do still have a little bit of time on Lucky Break potentially, and that might have been just enough to help him slip by.
Yeah, very possibly. Give him that break. But they get that on the Claudette. 3 survivors currently injured, 1 broken from the 4 people. Only 1 healthy right now is the Steve, who I imagine is going to be hiding quite a ways away from this engagement.
I would imagine so. Also worth noting is that Claudette's the only one with Sloppy Butcher applied as of right now, because Jake was hit from the chain, wasn't injured directly, and then Nancy for the people. So okay, now it's Jake Sloppy applied. I'm about to say the healing would be quick.
Deathslinger's like, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, let me get this one. Yeah, they will be able to go back and put this hook, which is, again, a really good spot for them, as that generator doesn't have a lot of progress currently, so I'm really curious how the survivors plan on breaking this region.
Yeah, it really all comes down to this. If the Deathslinger is able to secure a 2K7 hook, that there will be enough to secure the win, and I think Deathslinger realized that with this 3-gen setup. Feeling pretty comfy right now with Nancy currently injured. I think that Deathslinger may have spotted her off in the distance, and sure enough, she has been found.
Quite so, and worth noting is that I think what the play could be here, if they had made that shot, one hook everybody. Because at this point, you've got a hook on 2 survivors, you got a second hook on 1 of them. If you could hook every survivor here, I think that might be enough points, even if there's some escapes.
Yeah, I think you might be correct. With that being said, we do see that 4th generator popping off in the distance. Deathslinger taking a cheeky shot there, but that's a lot of Colubrine noise notifications, meaning that that is at least 2 survivors on that gen trying to crank it out as fast as possible. Jake here with the firecracker, but unable to do much with it, as they will end up going down. No adrenaline play for them either, so they'll be going up on the hook once again.
Quite so, and worth noting here is that that's 4 hooks, 2 on each survivor. I'm wondering where the Steve is in all this, because we haven't seen them. Do they go for a fresh hook, or do they try and, pressure the survivor out of the game? I'd be worried about that far gen behind the truck.
Yeah, they haven't checked there in a hot minute, maybe being a bit confident that survivors wouldn't be there due to the lack of resources. And though they might be right, it definitely is a bit of a gamble, to say the least. And they have found the Steve. Honestly, probably not who they want to see right now. I think based on what you were saying earlier, the right course of action here is to find the fresh survivors and hook them as quickly as possible to try and secure the win. As right now, I think they're at about, was it 3, 5, about 10 points right now between 4 hooks.
Yeah, they have 10 points right now. Nancy would be a great find here, as they are still fresh. That'd be an additional 3 points. Honestly, if you could get them and then camp them to death, that also might be enough to secure. There's the Colubrine notification. Nancy desperately wanting this chase at the Z-Wall. Will they be able to do the Z-Wall infinite is the question. Looks like they're doing a little bit.
Yeah, they're doing a good job here. I imagine Life coming in, Deathslinger with the shot and the down. Will we see an adrenaline popping off? We will not see it in time, as Colubrine's noise notifications will go off. And honestly, I think they're in a prime location here to just camp out the Nancy. Let them get that last gen, sit there in front of the exit gate. We see a haze status effect, which means that there's a no-ed in play. So I think they're in a really, really strong position here. And I think it is very likely that we see Eternal walking away with the victory.
It is very possible. However, they do not seem satisfied with the current position. Yeah, they know there's a survivor on the no-ed here. It looks like it's Claudette. She's fresh, though. If they get her and camp her to death, that's lights out.
Yeah, that is absolutely lights out, and no one coming in to interrupt that no-ed. And even if they do, that means that they're going to sacrifice people on the X-Gates instead. A lot of dropping God Pal to try and give them a little bit of extra distance, knowing what that lit totem means. Honestly, though, this could come back to bite them if they're not able to get this down before that is cleansed, or before the Claudette is able to escape via the exit gate.
Yeah, and also worth noting is that's Steve. That's not the survivor you want to find. One exit gate's open. They might have... Maybe they should have camped the Nancy to death. I don't know if they... Do they think the Claudette's still here?
I think that's what the thought is, and that the Claudette is still on this side of the map. They can see the exit gate EGC has started. And so I think the gamble is that they know where the Claudette is, and that they cannot escape just yet, and are going to be guarding the hatch up until the point that EGC ends. We do see one survivor over there sneaking over towards the exit gate. They recognize that's the Steve, who has already been hooked twice. Not exactly who you want to be going for, but they are going to be taking the gamble anyways, as I think Steve here being a bit of a sacrificial offering and just taking the ire of the Deathslinger away from the Claudette.
That might be the case. We see the Claudette in the distance on the totem. They're about to cleanse Noed, but killing Steve is not the. I don't think this is the play. I don't think that's enough points.
I think you're right, and we see the other 3 survivors starting to move away at this point in time, realizing that Steve will be sent back to the campfire via the entity. And I think Deathslinger may have unintentionally thrown this away at the very end of it all.
It's very possible. Again, if you camp Nancy to death, that might have been the play. I'm not sure. I think they might have been questioning if camping Nancy was the win. Well, to be fair, they did get a fresh hook on a different survivor. It wasn't a 6-stage 2K in the way that it's normally. Actually, I don't know how this is going to come out in the wash, because that's 6 points, and then they got 2 other fresh hooks, so it's not just, 12, it's 14 points. How many points do survivors get? Because that's,
it's going to be really close. Survivors got 16 points last match, so it's really going to come down to these escape points, I feel.
I think Eternal actually took it anyway. I think it's 14 to 16 in favor of Survivors still got 16 points. They got a fresh out. They got a 2-stage out and a 1-stage out. I think that's how it works.
I think you might be right, but we're going to have to wait just a moment as the final score is getting tabulated as we speak. That being said, Steve is going to be marked as dead. The last 3 survivors marked as escape because, so it's really interesting. So, really speaking, they get that 1 point. I think the fresh hook did do it because they get that additional 1 point that would have been for Jake's death. They then get an additional 2 points off of the Nancy's first hook. So it's going to be really, really close here. And looks like it is 16-14. 14 for Eternal. Eternal coming away victorious by just 2 points.
Yeah, it comes down to that fresh hook they got earlier on. Even if they only got the Steve, I don't know. I'm trying to think, because I think the play was still sacrifice Steve to let the Claudette get out, because obviously if they got that fresh hook, that would have been just lights out easily, because you just camp it out. But yeah, I'm surprised the points worked out like that in the end. I guess again, you prioritize fresh hooks over just killing survivors straight up, and it played out to their advantage in the end. That was actually kind of crazy. I did not expect that to come out into victory initially.
Yeah,
I guess the points weren't.
It was a bit concerning. It was a bit concerning towards the end, to say the least.
Yeah, the points were calculating in my head at the last minute. I was like, wait, actually they do get it. Yeah, all right. Congratulations. That was really close. That was really, really close.
Yeah, absolutely. Really amazing matches by both sides, both Eternal and Torment alike. But with that being said, Eternal is going to be moving into round 2. And looks like we are just getting some double, triple checking of how close that was by checking as well. But we're most likely going to be going into round 2 with Eternal 1 win under their belt. But we'll be double checking here, and we'll be letting teams know momentarily on how things shook out. Well, with that being said, guys, we are going to take a quick break before we do jump into round 2. Don't worry, though, we have some really awesome replays for you guys to check out if you did miss set number 1 between these 2 amazing teams. And we'll be getting round 2 to you guys shortly once the other matches have wrapped up.
Stay tuned, folks.